Hello everyone. We're going to see how to find the right studio apartment in Miami to invest. We'll first classify neighborhoods. Second, try to assess which neighborhoods will generate the best income on Airbnb in relation to the price that we pay. So we're trying to optimize returns. And thirdly, we will revise how to assess the profitability on each case. We'll give you access to a calculator that we use to calculate the cap rate. And lastly, we will perform interviews. We'll tell you how to perform interviews with other hosts that are already renting apartments in that neighborhood, so you can gain better insights about the profile of customer that will be renting from you, and you can confirm the seasonality and the rates on which you have made your predictions. So the first step is to go into Airbnb and perform a broad search just for Miami. And Airbnb will tell us where is more likely for a customer to stay, which neighborhood is more likely for a customer to stay when they're searching for Miami broadly. In this case, we can see that North Beach, South Beach, Brickell, and Coconut Grove offer are where people tend to stay when they just search for Miami. So what Airbnb is doing is, if someone is searching broadly for Miami, they will show us the neighborhood where it's more likely for us to stay. So you should use that in your favor and look for apartments in those areas. All right, the next step is to go neighborhood by neighborhood from these 4 neighborhoods and to try to estimate the income that the average apartment will generate on these neighborhoods and to get an average property price for the neighborhood. By doing this, we can understand the income relation to the investment amount that we will be making. So, for example, if a property in Brickell generates $40,000 a year and costs $400,000, and a property in Coconut Grove generates half of that, $20,000, and costs the same amount, the income generated by each dollar that we invested is half. So we're looking for properties that can maximize rental income at a fair price, right? This ratio is called GRI, gross rental income, to property average price. So we will perform an analysis on Airbnb, for example, for each of the neighborhoods. We'll make a list of the prices on each of the 4 neighborhoods. In this case, it's Brickell. We will make a list, like writing down the daily rate and then we will go into Excel and calculate the average price for that neighborhood that customers are paying. We will do the same to try to estimate the average price of the properties as listed on Redfin or Zillow. For example, here on Redfin, we will draw the area that an area for Brickell, and we will write down the prices of the properties that match our standards. In this case, as we're renting on Airbnb, we're looking to buy properties that usually have a view and a balcony, because we want the properties to stand out. So we'll be performing a search for properties under 700 square foot and matching these two unique characteristics that we need to maximize returns. So when we are done analyzing each neighborhood, we should have a table showing the gross rental income in relation to the average property price. So the GRI for Brickell would be 4,500, for Coconut Grove would be 3,000, for South Beach Miami would be 4,100, and for North Beach would be 3,100. So if you look at the average price for the apartments there, it's pretty similar. But the 2 neighborhoods that give us the highest returns with regards to the average price per property are Brickell and South Beach in Miami. So now we have the neighborhoods that offer the best returns for us as an investor. The next step is to research properties within those neighborhoods. In this case, we will start by Brickell because it has a higher ratio. And to perform a cap rate analysis. A cap rate is a capitalization rate, which is a rate that gives us the net income divided by the property price. So if a property is worth $100,000 and the net income from the property is 8,000, the cap rate will be 8%. Cap rate gives us the profitability. We start by the gross rental income, say 30,000, and with this count all of the expenses that we will have by renting our property as a short-term rental on Airbnb. This will include utilities, property tax, property management cost, which is around 15 or 20% if we outsource this to somebody else. And by calculating the cap rate, we can understand if the property is profitable for us as an investor. At our fund, we do not buy properties that give us anything below 8% cap rate. If you want to calculate the cap rate really fast, you can use our calculator, the same calculator we use on our company, and you can deduct all the costs using a template. You can do that, or you can build an income statement yourself. What's most important is that you go one property at a time and you use the information on Redfin for being specific for HOAs and other examples. So, by now you should have an understanding of the neighborhood. You should know what's the income to price, and you should have selected 3-4 properties that match your standard regarding cap rate or profitability as an investor. The next step is before making an offer, before hiring a real estate agent to make an offer, is to rent an apartment on that same neighborhood, hopefully next to the apartments that you like, and to interview some successful host on that neighborhood. You do not need to travel to interview the host. What we do is we would normally just make a reservation through Airbnb and give the host a call right before our stay and be honest. I'm like, look, I'm looking forward to invest on this neighborhood. I had these ideas. Could you give me feedback about the seasonality? What's the customer profile? Why do you think I should be looking at an apartment here? So remember, you do not need to travel to the place to meet the host in person. You can be honest and say what you expect from a call. Once you've interviewed the host, the best thing is that you do not cancel the reservation. You just let them keep their money because they've been helpful. So usually we would do this. We would not visit the neighborhood before having an apartment that we want to buy. We'll do the interviews just on the phone. So by the end of all of this process, you already have a deep understanding of the neighborhood. You have sourced a property that has a unique characteristic that will help you have better returns on Airbnb. The last thing before making an offer is to find an agent and to confirm with him that particular building allows you to perform short-term rentals. If all of these conditions are met, you are looking at an apartment that you would like to own and invest in. The one thing we love about Miami is that having an apartment in Miami, in particular a small apartment, is something that you will probably give it some personal use. So you will look for a company to manage it, or you will manage it yourself remotely. You can do that. We cover that in different videos. And sometimes you will give it some good use to this apartment as well. So Miami is a great city because of those two reasons. All right, I hope you like the whole process that we described. If you have any ideas and want to reach out, just go for it. Thank you.